There's something I want to open up today. Some deep shit that I like kind of really recently thought about. Um, as a man, you gotta set boundaries. You gotta be confrontational. You gotta be kind of harsh around the people you know, because people do not take you lightly if you're like struggling to do that. Most of my life, I've been not good with confronting, with like, you know, telling people off, and like, it's not that I don't like telling people what bothers me. It's that I don't like having to break that down, and like I struggle with expression a lot. I struggle with a lot of like issues that I face because I haven't really been taught a healthy way to really express that without being yelled at, without being fussed at, without having to shield myself by curling up within myself within my own like like family life. I'm sure a lot of you can relate to that because parents, they try hard, but sometimes they just like don't really provide what you need to learn through life, right? And obviously, sometimes it's hard to teach people how to like have boundaries. Not that my parents didn't try; they wanted to, but it's just like me, myself, and I didn't see like the value in getting angry or, like trash talking and family games and like getting mad at each other. That's just not fun to me, bro. Right? But this doesn't really like it doesn't really apply to what I'm saying in the sense that like you can't really see it coming. Now, the reason I'm saying you need to have boundaries and why I'm trying to express that is because, well, I'm a victim of assault. And it was on two instances that I could recall right now. Now, back in middle school, I was like 12, maybe like 13. Around that old, like wee high, most vulnerable state. That's when you're trying to figure yourself out. That's also when you're really awkward and socially like impaired compared to some other kids. Not like impaired, but like that. Well, when you feel socially impaired, when you're like not really ready to be socialized, you're kind of stuck in the room with people. In elementary, it's not really like that because everybody's so young they don't know like anything, right? But with middle school, it was a mutual friend of mine. Not a friend met me with somebody, right? And that somebody who I'll call R was like really kind of just weird. Bro was on like the spectrum of something, right? He was strange. He was bewildering, and I did not like him. I did not feel a sense of security around him. I did not feel safe, right? Now, that's all handy dandy because I just avoided R. I didn't put myself through that. Like I didn't run from him, but I just distanced from him as much as I can without trying to make it seem weird because my gut was having a very off feeling, right? But one day when I was using the bathroom uh, on school campus, he randomly comes in, like in the middle of me using the bathroom, and I'm in the stall because it's like we have to go to class soon, and I had to rush, right? Usually, I use the door to protect myself. I guess this is the reason why now, but I used to pee in the stall a lot, standing up. Not that y'all needed to know that, but yeah. Art comes in all of a sudden. He just walks in. It's so crazy. He just walks in all of a sudden, and as I'm urinating, as I'm peeing, he randomly comes in. Sorry, I'm repeating myself. It's just like I don't really. All right, I'm gonna get to the point. My bad. But he comes in and then he sees me using the restroom and he tries to touch me like inappropriately. First, he tries to slap my behind. It was super strange. And then he tries to like. I remember he tried to touch my dick. I remember him looking at it, being very like intrigued or something. I don't know if he was understanding what he was doing, but he tried to touch my dick, and I remember I fought back. I can't tell you what happens after that because I don't really remember. I'm either blocking it out or I successfully went away. I don't quite remember what happened, but I remember I was still violated in the sense of privacy and still violated in the sense of like security. Like I didn't really feel safe in a school bathroom after that. So I was very cautious and curious to like everybody I walked across, and that barely felt a sense of isolation inside of myself. And after that incident, I really held this hatred for R that never goes away. Like, I still hate dude to this day. Thankfully, I don't see him as much, but like, because I work in such a public spacing, there's still a chance that I could one day walk into him, and that instance could still one day happen, right? But hopefully I don't see him again. And let me go on to like the second part of this story, right? So like after I grew up, I ended up like, graduating high school, doing all that stuff, right? I got a job at fucking Harris Teeter, right? And I ended up meeting this guy. He's like pretty cool at first. We're like not really vibing, but like we're chilling, right? And I don't really know how to talk to this motherfucker, so I'm kind of awkward. I don't really talk much. Kind of like just trying to focus doing my job, trying to get out of there because I'm the only closer at the store, and they put a lot of pressure on me to get it done, right? That's how your first job is gonna be, by the way. But they put a lot of pressure on you to get it done, and I feel myself crumbling at the job a lot, right? So I'm very like, I had to sacrifice social means to get the job done, so I don't get yelled at, so I can get my money, right? Anyways, like a year to 3 years into our friendship, we end up meeting this new guy, and the one friend I had ends up turning into like a real asshole. You know, it's like little side shit, and this is what I mean. You need to set boundaries. You need to be confrontational as a man because he's talking crazy. Like I can't tell him nothing because he's talking crazy about me and all this other crazy shit, and I just like kind of deal with it because I don't see the worth in getting upset, right? I barely express myself to these people because I just don't feel safe doing it, right? And the only reason I put up with it is because I know he's struggling too. So I know he needs that like a helping hand. But my morality and what I've been taught, and like upholding and admiring people who stick with it even though like they're suffering to try to be the better man. That's what I was trying to do. But he used to say like a lot of crazy shit about like people I had a crush on whenever I did express myself. If I was interested in somebody at work and word got out, then he would be over there in my text message better saying, "You better say something to this girl before I take her from you," all this and that other shit, right? That shit used to piss me off. In fact, I thought about beating his ass off that. I know I couldn't though. So I thought about some other crazy shit, but I won't open up about that, right? But point is, he used to make me so upset, so like furious that I used to like think if I had to hurt this motherfucker, how would that be the best way, right? But that's not a healthy mindset, and that's where I really should have cut it off, but I didn't, right? I ended up getting over it, and I just walked on, just started living my life, whatever. I started distancing him from him too, didn't really hang out with him. But then, years down the line, again, because I'm still like barely distancing him, and he invites me over, and I'm like, you know what? Fine, I give you one more chance, right? During this motherfucker slaps my ass in front of everybody that he's hanging out with, bruh. I'm talking about the dudes, the women, everybody, bruh. That shit's embarrassing. That shit was so, like, demasculating, or whatever that word is for, like, unmasculating. It made me feel like such a bitch, bruh. Because he tried to bitch me. That shit, I suffered so much embarrassment because I didn't put my boundary down. And when I finally did, I didn't feel, like, content with myself, right? I struggle with like self-identity because of that. And I don't know if he was doing it as a joke or if it was just like what his intents were, but he was talking all this crazy shit, trying to make me feel down on myself, right? And I finally told him, I don't fuck with you no more, and I blocked. Sorry about that. Someone walked in when I was finishing this off, but I'm gonna end this here and say like I finally did block him. It's really simple, bro. Like all you gotta do is truly just I blocked his number, got him out. I didn't even make a big fuss. I just left silently, right? Last night I finally got how I was truly feeling like all off my chest and stuff. So I finally got that out the way. But I want to remind you guys that don't lose yourself in this, you know? You need to be a hard ass, but balance it. You know, like my father's a hard ass, and like sometimes I can respect that. Sometimes that's needed, but most of the time I just feel myself fed up and annoyed by him. You know, so it really takes balance. You gotta balance out yourself and the fight, if that makes sense. Sorry, I don't really know how to like describe all this, so I'm stuttering. But if you feel like you are betraying yourself when putting up a boundary, then there's a problem. If you feel like you need to go out of your own ways just to tell somebody to stop, there's a problem, and you need to get that relationship out of your life. You know, I've been abused a lot, verbally, by like most of my peers. I'm not gonna cap. I'm not gonna sugarcoat it. Most of my peers treat me like shit. In fact, that has had an effect on how I see myself. That has an effect on how I carry myself a lot, and I'm still getting over that to this day. There's a lot of boundaries that people don't respect on me because I haven't put it down. As I said, you need to put boundaries down as a man. As anybody, actually. Women should do this too, to be honest. But, yeah. I really just want to get that PSA out there. Tell a little bit of my story. I know I was kind of like here and there telling it, but I hope if someone can relate, then I want to tell you that you are more than life's victim. You are more than a victim as well of whoever has done you wrong. And there's more to life than that. So I hope you can find yourself again. And you can, like, really uphold yourself on a better pedestal. Not that I'm saying be egotistical or be any of that. Don't be no narcissist, bruh. Be humble. Be present. And believe in your willpower. That's what I'm saying. But yeah, bruh. Just be true to yourself and uphold what needs to be upheld, even if it means you gotta fight somebody. Because sometimes you gotta live by the blade to have peace, bruh. Or however that saying goes. But yeah, that's it, bruh. That's all I was trying to say.